Need to talk Arsenal. Let's speak to John. He's a gooner. Hello, John. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, guys. Ray, it's a
How you
pleasure,
doing, John?
mate, a legend. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, John.
You don't know Tubbo, do you, John?
Listen, if only we could have Parlour in the middle of the park again.
Oh, wow.
Look, to be honest with you, Ray was right what he was saying earlier. You know, we could turn Chelsea over at the weekend and all's forgiven. I'm just sick. Every Arsenal fan, get rid of him. Sack him. You can't keep doing this with managers. Give him time. The problem with Arsenal, yes, we need players, and the whole infrastructure of Arsenal needs to change, but the owners need to go. That's the bottom line. They don't care about the club. It's not. We've had our glory days, and hopefully they come back. This happens.
John, let me ask you.
What I don't like about the team is, I think Jamie already said, they got bullied off the park. You can't be bullied. I promise you now, we had so many talented players, but no one could bully you off the park. No one could say, right. I remember playing in the semi-final against Sheffield United, and Neil Warnock, who got a lot of respect for, he was going, right, they don't like it, kick them back, get in their faces. They started kicking us, but we had players who could kick them back harder. We had Keown, myself, Vieira, and they picked on Perez and people like that because they know they couldn't kick back, but we kicked the guy who kicked Perez
so
a little bit harder.
If Arsenal are being bullied now, whose resposibility on the pitch is that to sort that out?
Well, the leadership qualities is not been there for a while, is it? I mean, that's been lacking. When you've got a problem on the pitch, sometimes it's not all about the manager changing it. It's about players on the pitch to highlight where it's all going wrong. Now, it's not rocket science football. If they're coming down the left-hand side on a regular basis and getting balls into the box, which are dangerous, right, OK, for the next 5-10 minutes, we spot a player on him. Some player on midfield. You don't worry about going forward. You make sure your number 2, Lee Dixon, whoever it's going to be right back, you double up on this player and don't let him get balls into the box. And 5 or 10 minutes, suddenly, that's not the avenue they're going down. They've got to change it now. By then, we're getting on the front foot again. Now we can start playing. I've always said, Pat Rice always said, you've got to earn the right to play at times. You've got to win the battle first before you start showing how good you are. That's why there's so many shocks in the third round of the FA Cup, because teams go there, it's only whoever it's going to be. We've got too many good talented players, but they're in for a battle. And it's 10 v 10 on the pitch. If suddenly they're wait a minute, I didn't expect a tackle like that, and they're on the front foot and 3 of your players don't fancy it, that's when you get an upset.
Greg's up next, an Arsenal fan. Hi, Greg.
Good afternoon, guys. You all right?
Have you ever heard of Tommy Innit, Rambo or Tubbo?
I honestly can't say I have, I'm afraid.
In a minute, someone's going to say, yeah, I know him. They're really well. He lives round the corner to me.
Maybe Tubbo will phone up. Go on then, Greg. What you got for us?
What I was going to say, sort of to piggyback a little bit off what the previous caller said, the reaction after the first game, I just think has been so overinflated and so ridiculous. If you can name another manager that going throughout their whole pre-season, sorting out their team, getting their players ready, he lost Partey a week before the season started in a friendly, and then he lost his 2 most experienced strikers the day of or the night before the game. Like, that's going to cripple the team. Like, he didn't have anyone in there to settle the game. Like, obviously Brentford, they were going to be up, they're going to have their tails up with the energy and the fans and their first game in the Premier League. And we had Balogun, like Lokonga and White all making their debuts, and it was a recipe for disaster. But I wouldn't hold it against Arteta personally. I just think his hands have been tied a little bit.
OK, Greg, let me ask you 2 questions, right? Firstly, the main aim for Arsenal this season or next is to get back in the top 4. Would you agree?
I would say top 6.
OK. Question 2, is Arteta the right man to do that?
I believe so. But I think Edu is more at fault than Arteta because he's not given him the correct tools to work with in terms of he hasn't got him a right back. He hasn't got him a backup goalie to provide adequate competition for Leno. He hasn't solved the centre midfield crisis. He's given Xhaka a new contract where personally I think most Arsenal fans would agree it was probably his time to move on this summer and go in a different direction. OK. Just your views on Edu?
Well, he's got a big job. The problem is, how do you attract the calibre of player you need? I know Arsenal's a big club and they've got great history, but they're not playing European football. So some players will say, well, why do I want to go play for Arsenal? I can play Europa League, go West Ham. Players might say, look, I can go and play Europa League football at West Ham. Champions League football if I've got a chance. And that's the problem they're going to have. They might have to overpay certain players to get them at Arsenal to try and give the opportunity for them to get back into that top 6 and top 4.
You've got 2 awful games next. You got Chelsea and then you got City as well. If he doesn't survive either of those, will he survive the 4th game?
Yeah, he will definitely. I think I've written down. They've got after that, they've got Norwich home, Burnley away, Spurs at home, Brighton away, Palace at home. So there's a lot of points they've got to try and catch up.
Yeah.
They could get something out of Chelsea.
I don't see that.
I don't see it after
Not
the
with
first.
Lukaku's gonna be back.
After the first game, we don't see it. But football is fun.
I know it is, but I'd be stunned.
It surprises us sometimes.
I'd be stunned. One of the biggest upsets in world football, that would be. Keep your calls coming in 08717 22 33 It's me, Andy Goldstein, and Ray Parler on Drive on talkSPORT with WeBuyAnyCar.com. They settle any outstanding finance so you don't have to.